Saddharma-Pundarika, or The Lotus of the True Law, Chapter 1, Introductory. Thus have I heard. Once, the world-honored one was staying at Ragagriha on the Gridyakuta mountain with a numerous assemblage of monks, 1,200 monks in all of them arhats, free from depravity, self-controlled, thoroughly emancipated in thought and knowledge, having done their duty, reached the goal, in whom the ties which bound them to existence were wholly destroyed, who had reached the utmost perfection in subduing their thoughts. These were eminent disciples such as the Venerable Shariputra, the Venerable Subhuti, and the Venerable Rahula. With them were yet other great disciples, such as the Venerable Ananda, still under training. Also present were 6,000 nuns, having at their head Mahaprajapati and the nun Yasodhara, the mother of Rahula. Further, there were 80,000 bodhisattvas, all endowed with perfect enlightenment, firmly standing in wisdom, who rolled forward the never-deviating wheel of the law, who, under many hundreds of thousands of Buddhas, had planted roots of goodness, were fully penetrated with the feeling of charity, and were capable in communicating the wisdom of the Tathagatas. These bodhisattvas were renowned in many thousands of worlds, having saved myriad sentient beings. Included were the bodhisattvas Manjushri, Avalokiteshvara, Mahastama-Prampta, and Maitreya. Now, at that time, the world-honored one, surrounded, attended, honored, revered, venerated, and worshipped by the four groups of hearers, after expounding the Sutra of Innumerable Meanings, a text serving to instruct bodhisattvas and proper to all Buddhas, sat cross-legged on the seat of the law and entered upon the meditation termed the Station of Innumerable Meanings. His body was motionless, and his mind had reached perfect tranquility. As the world-honored one entered upon his meditation, there fell a great rain of divine flowers, covering the world-honored one and the four groups of hearers, while the whole Buddha field shook. Then did those who were assembled and sitting together in that congregation, monks, nuns, male and female lay devotees, as well as gods, nagas, goblins, gandharvas, demons, garudas, kanaras, great serpents, men and beings not human, as well as governors of a region, rulers of armies, and rulers of 4 continents, all of them with their followers, gaze on the world-honored one in astonishment, in amazement, in ecstasy. And at that moment there issued a ray from within the circle of hair between the eyebrows of the world-honored one. It extended over 1,800,000 Buddha fields, so that all those Buddha fields appeared wholly illuminated by its radiance. And the beings in any of the 6 states of existence became visible, all without exception. Likewise, the world-honored ones, staying, living, and existing in those Buddha fields, became all visible, and the law preached by them could be entirely heard by all beings. And the bodhisattvas in those Buddha fields, who plied the bodhisattva course with ability, due to their earnest belief in numerous and various lessons and the fundamental ideas, they too all became visible. And the stupas made of jewels and containing the relics of extinct Buddhas all became visible in those Buddha fields. Then rose in the mind of the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Maitreya this thought: "Oh, how great a wonder does the Tathagata display! What may be the cause? What the reason of the world-honored one producing so great a wonder as this. Such astonishing, prodigious, inconceivable, powerful miracles now appear, although the world-honored one is absorbed in meditation. Why, let me inquire about this matter. Who would be able here to explain it to me? He then thought, here is Manjushri, who has plied his office under formal Tathagatas and planted the roots of goodness while worshipping many Buddhas. This Manjushri must have witnessed before such signs of the former Tathagatas, those perfectly enlightened Buddhas. Of yore, he must have enjoyed the grand conversations on the law. Therefore, I will inquire about this matter with Manjushri. And the four groups of the audience, monks, nuns, male and female lay devotees, numerous gods, nagas, goblins, gandharvas, demons, garudas, kimnaras, great serpents, men and beings not human, on seeing the magnificence of this great miracle of the world-honored one, were struck with astonishment, amazement, curiosity, and they thought, let us inquire why this magnificent miracle has been produced by the great powerful Lord. At the same moment, at that very instant, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Maitreya knew in his mind the thoughts arising in the minds of the four groups of hearers, and he spoke to Manjushri. What, O Manjushri, is the cause? What is the reason of this wonderful, prodigious, miraculous shine having been produced by the world-honored one? Look how these 18,000 Buddha fields appear, variegated, extremely beautiful, superintended by Tathagatas. Then it was that Maitreya, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, addressed Manjushri in the following stanzas. Why, Manjushri, does this ray darted shine forth, and why this abundant rain of flowers? I see also many bodhisattvas living in the forest, and others inhabiting the empty wilderness, engaged in reciting and reading. And some bodhisattvas I see, full of wisdom, betake themselves to mountain caves, where by cultivating and meditating on the Buddha knowledge, they arrive at its perception. Others, who have renounced all sensual desires by purifying their own self, have cleared their sphere and obtained the 5 transcendent faculties. Some are standing firm, the feet put together and the hands joined in token of respect toward leaders. Some, thoughtful, meek, and tranquil, who have mastered the niceties of the course of duty, question the highest of men about the law and retain in their memory what they have learned. And I see here and there some sons and daughters of the principal Buddha who, after completely developing their own self, are preaching the law to many hundreds of thousands of living beings with many myriads of illustrations and reasons. Joyfully they proclaim the law, rousing many bodhisattvas. They strike the drum of the law. Others are saving creatures in the hells by emitting radiance and rouse them to enlightenment. There are some sons and daughters of the Buddha who dwell in the forest, abiding in vigor, completely renouncing sloth, and actively engaged in walking. It is by energy that they are striving for supreme enlightenment. Others complete their course by keeping a constant purity and an unbroken morality, like precious stones and jewels. By morality do these strive for supreme enlightenment. Further, I see bodhisattvas who have forsaken all wanton pleasures, shun unwise companions, and delight in being with genteel men and women. Then there are bodhisattvas who, with avoidance of any distraction of thoughts and with attentive mind, have meditated for years in the caves. These strive for enlightenment by dint of meditation. Some again offer in the presence of Buddhas and the assemblage of disciples gifts consisting of food and drink, medicines. Others offer in presence of the Buddhas and the assemblage of disciples clothes. They bestow in presence of the Buddhas hundreds of thousands of monasteries which they have caused to be built of precious substances, and which are furnished with numerous couches. Some present the leaders and their disciples with neat and lovely gardens, abounding with fruits and beautiful flowers, to serve as places of daily recreation. When they have, with joyful feelings, made such various and splendid donations, they rouse their energies in order to obtain enlightenment. These are those who try to reach supreme enlightenment by means of charitableness. There are also sons and daughters of the Buddha who try to reach enlightenment by wisdom. They understand the law of emptiness, unattached, like birds in the sky. Further, I see many bodhisattvas who are worshipping the relics of the Buddhas. I see thousands of stupas, numerous as the sands of the Ganges River, which have been raised by these sons and daughters of the Buddhas, and now adorn thousands of grounds. Those magnificent stupas, made of 7 precious substances, measure in height to no less than 5,000 yojanas and 2,000 in circumference. Such honor do the sons and daughters of the Buddhas render to the relics of the Buddhas, so that all directions of space are brightened. From this spot I behold all this, those numerous thousands of creatures, both in this world and heaven, covered with flowers, owing to the single ray shot forth by the Buddha. Oh, how powerful is the leader of men! How extensive and bright is his knowledge, that a single beam darted by him over the world renders visible so many thousands of fields. We are astonished at seeing this sign and this wonder so great, so incomprehensible. Explain me the matter, O Manjushri. The sons and daughters of the Buddha are anxious to know it. The 4 groups of the congregation in joyful expectation gaze on thee, O hero, and on me. Gladden their hearts, remove their doubts. Grant a revelation, O son of the Buddha. Why is it that the Buddha has now emitted such a light? It must be for some purpose that this great ray has been emitted. Is the world-honored one to show the primordial laws which he, the highest, discovered on the terrace of enlightenment? Or is he to prophesy the bodhisattvas their future destiny? There must be a weighty reason why so many thousands of fields have been rendered visible, variegated, splendid, and shining with gems, while Buddhas of infinite sight are appearing. Men, gods, goblins, and titans, the 4 groups of the congregation are eagerly awaiting what answer Manjushri shall give in explanation. Whereupon Manjushri, the Prince Royal, addressed Maitreya, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, and the whole assembly of bodhisattvas in these words. It is the intention of the Tathagata to begin a grand discourse for the teaching of the law, to pour the great rain of the law, to make resound the great drum of the law, to raise the great banner of the law, to kindle the great torch of the law, to blow the great conch trumpet of the law, and to strike the great timbrel of the law. Again, it is the intention of the Tathagata to make a grand exposition of the law this very day. I have witnessed a similar sign of the former Tathagatas, the perfectly enlightened. Those former Tathagatas, they too emitted a lustrous ray, and I am convinced that the Tathagata is about to deliver a grand discourse for the teaching of the law and make his grand speech on the law everywhere heard. And because the Tathagata wishes that this Dharma be heard everywhere. Therefore does he display so great a miracle, this foretoken of consisting in the luster occasioned by the emission of a ray. I remember the days of yore, many immeasurable, inconceivable, immense, infinite, countless eons ago. There was born a Tathagata called Chandra Surya Pradipa, a Sugata, a knower of the world, a teacher, a Buddha. He showed the law. He revealed the duteous course, which is holy at its commencement, holy in its middle, and holy at the end, good in substance and form, complete and perfect, correct and pure. That is to say, to the disciples he preached the law containing the Four Noble Truths, the chain of causes and effects, finally leading to nirvana. And to the bodhisattvas he preached the law connected with the six perfections, and terminating in the attainment of supreme perfect enlightenment. It was at that time, Maitreya, that the world-honored one, Chandra Surya Pradipa, the Tathagata, after expounding the Dharma called the Sutra of Innumerable Meanings, a text of great extension serving to instruct bodhisattvas and proper to all Buddhas, at the same moment and instant, at the same gathering of the classes of groups, sat cross-legged on the same seat of the law and entered upon the meditation termed the Station of Innumerable Meanings. His body was motionless, and his mind had reached perfect meditation. And as soon as the world-honored one had entered upon meditation, there fell a great rain of divine flowers, covering the Lord and the four classes of hearers, while the whole Buddha field shook in 6 ways. At that moment there issued a ray from within the circle of hair, between the eyebrows of the world-honored one. It extended over 1,800,000 Buddha fields, so that all those Buddha fields appeared wholly illuminated by its radiance, just like the Buddha fields do now, O Maitreya. At that juncture, Maitreya, there were 20 kotis of bodhisattvas following the Lord. All hearers of the law in that assembly, on seeing how the world was illuminated by the luster of that ray, felt astonishment, amazement, ecstasy, and curiosity. Now it happened, Maitreya, that there was a bodhisattva called Varaprabha who had 800 pupils. It was to this bodhisattva Varaprabha that the Lord, on rising from his meditation, revealed the Dharma called the Lotus of the True Law. He spoke during fully 60 intermediate kalpas, always sitting on the same seat, with immovable body and tranquil mind. And the whole assembly continued sitting on the same seats, listening to the preaching of the Lord for 6 intermediate kalpas, there being not a single creature in that assembly who felt fatigue of body or mind. As the Lord Chandra Surya Pradipa, the Tathagata, during 60 intermediate kalpas, had been expounding the Dharma called the Lotus of the True Law, a text of great development, serving to instruct bodhisattvas and proper to all Buddhas, he instantly announced his complete nirvana to the world, saying, "Today, O monks, this night, in the middle watch, will the Tathagata, by entering the element of absolute nirvana, become wholly extinct." Thereafter, that very night, at that very watch, the world-honored one Chandra Surya Pradipa, the Tathagata, became extinct by entering the element of absolute nirvana, and the aforementioned Dharma, termed the Lotus of the True Law, was kept in memory by the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Varaprabha. During 80 intermediate kalpas did the Bodhisattva Varaprabha keep and reveal the commandment of the world-honored one who had entered nirvana. Perhaps, Maitreya, you feel some doubt, perplexity, or misgiving that in those days, at that time, there was another Bodhisattva Mahasattva Varaprabha, preacher of the law. But do not think so. Why? because it is I myself who in those days, at that time, was the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Varaprabha. The world-honored one, the supreme king of the Sakyas, the all-seeing, who knows the highest truth, is about to pronounce the excellent sutra which I have heard before. That very sign displayed at present is a proof of the skillfulness of the leader. The lion of the Sakyas is to make an exhortation, to declare the fixed nature of the law. Be well prepared and well-minded. Join your hands. He who is affectionate and merciful to the world is going to speak. He is going to pour the endless rain of the law and refresh those who are waiting for enlightenment. And if some should feel doubt, uncertainty, or misgiving in any respect, then the wise one shall remove it. For the Bodhisattvas here, striving after enlightenment.